Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix? With the Wicks here on this beautiful Monday, December 6th, 2021, and welcome to the show, whether that be on Facebook or on YouTube. Now, if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It would be much appreciated. You know, yesterday we had quite a bit of football that took place yesterday. I guess I said yesterday, but, you know, a lot of it was pretty decent football. A lot of it was what we expected it to go like, except for a couple games, obviously. One of them we'll get to here in just a bit, but you might have noticed that the stream is maybe a little bit different. Hopefully, it's not laggy on your side, because if that's the case, well, fuck. I apologize tremendously. It is what it is. We'll continue to go for now until I get confirmation from some other folks around that might be watching the stream. But look, last Friday had a killer of a show. I mean, we fucking nailed it. Me and Y4, hosts or guest host of Fantasy Football Friday, we went and we just nailed that fucking show. I mean, we hit everything on all cylinders, left and right. We were really doing our job. And get to the end of the show, look at my computer, and I about lose my shit. All right, basically, the reason behind that was, well, we were fucking muted the whole time. Okay, the whole goddamn time we were muted. So on top of it being laggy and it being muted, I mean, it was just one hell of a show. I mean, we could just it was brutal. All right, but it's a learning experience, and most of you probably seen my video that I put out shortly after that, you know, kind of transpired, I guess, if you will. It sucked. All right, but the show was awesome, and you guys didn't get to see our game picks and whatnot, but we made our picks. We did everything we possibly could, you know, to make it a good show for y'all, but it wasn't a good show for y'all because you couldn't hear, and it was bad. I guess it was really laggy. Hopefully that's not the case now, but we got to get to some football because, boy, do we have a lot to get to today. All right, so are you ready to get your fix? Well, let's start it off with, you know, this lovely fucking team we got here on this football. The Minnesota fucking Vikings. Man, they blew that shit yesterday. They fucking stink, apparently. Somehow, some way, we were able to let the Lions squeeze in their first win of the season. But hey, congratulations to the Lions out there. I know that was a much needed scenario for them because they did post out, or there was like a bunch of, like, a big post about, oh, there's a way the Lions can make the playoffs, and it all starts the Lions beating the Vikings. The Lions technically have to win literally every single game the rest of the year, and the Vikings can only beat the Bears, I believe it was, or something like that. So there is a way, for the Lions to win. All right, or not to win. I mean, obviously, there's a way for the Lions to make the playoffs, and that's big news for them. All right, but you know, yesterday the Vikings ended up losing in a shitty way in a final last-second touchdown to my boy Amon-Ra St. fucking Brown. He got the job done, but the Vikings defense really didn't get the job done at all. So let's kind of start here. I mean, look, you got to see these stats here. 27-29, the Vikings lose, move to 5-7 on the season now. The Lions are 1-10-1 through 13 weeks or 12 games for each teams. Kirk Cousins didn't do all that horrible. I mean, typical 340 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So that is a huge, huge thing for the Minnesota Vikings. But at the same time, it felt like we were really, really conservative to start the game. First drive, we get stopped. Second drive, we get stopped. Then third drive, we kick a field goal, and then we kick a field goal, and it's like, okay, all right, what's really happening here? The offense was really lackadaisical. Right when they got started, it was, I mean, you could just tell the Lions had the Vikings number that entire game. I mean, the Vikings offense needs to be better, as well as their defense. Okay, the defense really didn't do all that hot as well. And we'll get to them here in a sec. Justin Jefferson absolutely balled out, 11 catches, 182 yards, like you guys can see there, and a touchdown. For the Lions, Jared Goff did pretty well. Okay, I mean, that 296 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He played to the best of his ability, and me and John, actually, it might have been last Thursday or last Friday, we were kind of diving in to would you want Jared Goff as your quarterback? And we kind of went through every single team of the NFL and naming their starting quarterback, and it was like, okay, I'll take this guy, and there was only one guy that I would actually probably take Jared Goff over, and maybe 2, and the one for sure was Daniel Jones, and the second one was maybe over Big Ben, but if you give me prime Big Ben, then I'm going to take Big Ben, okay, over Jared Goff. But he balled out, 296, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jamal Williams really didn't do terrible, but also didn't have himself a day. He had 71 yards. He also fumbled the ball. I thought they could have used him a little bit better in the run game, in the pass game. But then Amon-Ra St. Brown, you see that touchdown there. That final touchdown, or that touchdown that he ended up getting, just happened to be the game winner. Okay, so the Minnesota Vikings, now this happened a couple times. Their defense played a really, really conservative, where Cam Dantzler twice in the span of probably 3 fucking drives had about 10 yards of cushion on his receiver. 10 yards of cushion. Can't happen because if there's 10 yards of cushion, I mean, that's obviously going to result in a completed pass. And it happened. One time for a pretty decent gain. And the second time was for a game-winning fucking touchdown. Get Dantzler out of there. He is garbage. He is complete ass out there for us. I get that the guy can make a play here and there every once in a while. But when he consistently fucks up defensively, lets these guys get however many yards, 100-plus yards a game, fucking a touchdown here or there, the game-winning touchdown, get his ass out of town. I do not want Cam Dantzler. I mean, I don't even know why we drafted him. I don't understand. I just don't think he can succeed in the NFL at all. Like, there's no way in hell that he succeeds at all. It is a very, very frustrating thing to watch. When you go out there, he either is going to give up a massive play, or he's going to let up a game-winning fucking touchdown to the Detroit Lions. Shouldn't happen. It's just it's really a big, big bummer of kind of what just happened there. Yesterday, 27-29. I mean, can't have it. It sucks. But we'll continue to get better. We'll continue to move forward. And hopefully things, really go about or transpire how they should with the Minnesota Vikings, hopefully getting a playoff berth. I'm not really 100% sure if that's going to really happen. But we'll see when that time comes. But, yesterday was just a terrible outing for Minnesota altogether. No offense. It looked like, other than Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins really balling out. No defense. Let the Lions, do whatever they could or do whatever they wanted. I get it. The Minnesota Vikings were without, a lot of players. Anthony Barr wasn't playing. Eric Kendricks wasn't playing. Patrick Peterson wasn't playing defensively. Michael Pierce or Dalvin Tomlinson ended up getting hurt during the game. Adam Thielen ended up getting hurt early on in the game with an ankle injury. It's a high ankle sprain. Who knows how well that's going to go about, or how well that's going to end up. But, there's not really much to say about this game. Then, God damn it, Vikings. Whole bunch of nonsense really was happening yesterday. Now we got all these fire Zimmer remarks, all this. Get rid of Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator. Can't call a game to save his fucking life. Look, literally 11 of our 12 fucking games this year have been one possession games. Can't have it. Can't have it. Won't have it. Done. Sick and tired of it. I hate fucking sitting there. We're having to watch the game. It's getting down to the nitty gritty, and then all of a sudden there's 2 minutes left in the game, and I have to fucking sit forward and be like, "Oh dear God, please don't fuck this one. Like, we need this win, please. Just for the love of God, can we win this goddamn game, please?" Like, I don't want to do that at all anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm done. I'm just done with it. Let's go out there. Let's get a win by more than 10 points. Okay, so I can actually fucking, not be so stressed out, not have fucking panic attack because, God damn it, we might fucking lose this goddamn game. I mean, Jesus, can we pull it together, Minnesota? I mean, good gracious, it was brutal. 27-29, we lost, giving the Lions their first win of the season, probably their last win of the season if I had to guess. But at the same time, this Lions team, they really impressed me with the way they fight and how well they go about their business. It's a good team. It's a very, very good team. Now they just got to clean up a little bit of things, a little bit of the wrongdoings, I guess, if you will, and they'll be just fine. But Minnesota, man, if we want to go to the playoffs, we got to fucking pick it up, and we got to pick it up right now. Okay, we got to get going on the right path. So let's shift gears to a team who just might be yanking our chain a little bit, all right? The fucking Cincinnati Bengals go out last week and they demolish the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they stomp all over them, spit on them, fucking chew on them and spit them out a little bit. How you doing? Keep it moving. And then they enter week 13. They got shit on by the Chargers in a big way. Okay, the Chargers took a massive lead to start the game, 24-0. All right, game's pretty much over. Cincinnati starts crawling their way back in. It's 24-14 at one point or something like that. And then the Chargers really just start rolling. Okay, the Chargers ended up with a dub, obviously. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals 41-22, sending the Chargers 7-5 on the season, and as well as the Bengals at 7-5 on the year. Herbert did pretty solid. He had himself a day, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, only a pick. Austin Eckler, we could have seen more from his side of things. But with those 2 fumbles, like you guys see there on your screen, it's hard to want to go back to him, especially when you got, the likes of Mike Williams, who balled out. I mean, he had a couple grabs where I was like, no fucking way. I'm like, okay, this dude's a dog, right? He's a good receiver, probably a number 1 receiver on a couple teams in the NFL, if I had to guess. But 110 yards and only 5 receptions. That was ridiculous. And he had the exact same amount of fantasy points as Keenan Allen. Now, Keenan Allen necessarily didn't have the yards. He's not on this fucking on the stream right now, but he only had 34 yards receiving, right? The man had 2 touchdowns to add to that, and I probably should have put him on the board, but this guy was the leading receiver, more yards, less touchdown. No touchdowns, obviously, but he balled out. Okay, this Chargers defense played pretty solid, phenomenal football. They just slowed down Jamar Chase. They slowed down Joe Burrow for the most part, picked him off twice and only held him to 300 yards and a touchdown. They also stopped Joe Mixon, and I feel like that was a big, big stop in itself. When you look at the last couple weeks, what Joe Mixon has actually been able to do, 100-plus rushing yards, back-to-back games or something like that, a couple touchdowns here or there. And this game, he was really non-existent. He got stopped a couple times. He was slowed down. 54 yards, a touchdown, a fumble. Then you got T. Higgins coming out of absolutely nowhere with the recent, obviously with Jamar Chase kind of going off earlier in the season. A lot of corners and a lot of coaches are like, hey, we gotta double him. We gotta We got to keep our eye on Jamar Chase. Can't let him get open, and that kind of opens up the rest of the receiving core, especially with T. Higgins. Look, I mean, you guys see it. 9 receptions, 138 yards, and a touchdown. That's phenomenal. Okay, that's an absolute, machine right there doing what he can. That's a big, big day out of T. Higgins. And last year when he came into the NFL, I was really high on this guy, thinking, okay, he's going to be the next, Ocho Cinco over there. And I mean, it's kind of a coincidence that he fucking wears number 85. But I mean, I was thinking, okay, build. I mean, he has the intangibles. Now he just has to go put it out there. And he really wasn't. I mean, he wasn't a guy last year, and this year he's not really that guy as well. I guess the entire season, but there is times where he shows greatness, and he showed it yesterday. 138 yards and a touchdown. Phenomenal, okay, for him, but not phenomenal for the Bengals, losing 41-22 after they just beat the Steelers 41-10. It just can't happen. But I mean, you got to ask yourself the question: like, are the Bengals actually playing us? Because they're good one week, they're great the next, then they're bad, then they're okay, then they're bad, and then they're great, and then it's like, all right, what the fuck? What's going on? All right, you guys good or you bad? We got a show to do here. I mean, True Identity Tuesday. I mean, what's your identity? We really don't know. I mean, you guys were shitty before the bye. You come out, piss all over the Steelers, then you come out and you do this nonsense. All right, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous what the NFL can entail from time to time. And 41-22 from Cincinnati against the Chargers. The Chargers team who's really hit or miss, but when they hit, like you guys kind of just saw, they fucking hit. I mean, 41 points, 41-22. Just ridiculous what they were able to do yesterday against the Bengals. And put in some work, if you will. That was a pretty solid outing, I'd say, from Cincinnati for the most part. 41-22, sending both Chargers and the Bengals to 7-5 on the year. So now let's go and we'll talk about Tom fucking Brady, who dominated in Atlanta yesterday. Bald, all right? He played out of his mind. Played really, really solid. This was a tough game for Atlanta to really get going, at all. I mean, you got to play the reigning Super Bowl champions. You got to play Tom Brady, who, I mean, we all know the 28-3 game and what that kind of entailed. And well, Brady did his due diligence. God, I can't. That was a fucking tongue twister. Couldn't get it out of my mouth there. But he took the Falcons to Pound Town. 30-17, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ended up winning this one, sending Tampa Bay to 9-3. The Falcons to 5-7. Now Tom Brady balled out, like I noted. He dominated Atlanta, 368 yards, passing on 51 attempts, with 4 touchdowns and only 1 interception. Now that interception, probably thinking, well, how did that happen? Well, guess what? I mean, it happens from time to time. Okay, Brady is going to throw interceptions. He's going to throw at least one a game. I mean, it's just going to happen, especially if you go back to last year. Look at all the games. It's that Bruce Arian style of offense. I feel like that causes these interceptions, and everyone was kind of bashing on Jameis Winston and why he had that 30-30 year. Tom Brady's thrown his fair share of interceptions. Now, granted, Tom Brady's thrown a lot more touchdowns. They have a winning record. They're first in their division and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's going to happen. Then you look at Fournette. Couldn't do anything after having a really, really nice game, 4 touchdowns. This game he only had 44 yards on 13 carries and 48 yards receiving with 1 touchdown. So he did okay. But Godwin absolutely ruled this game, 143 yards on the day. And an even bigger factor in this game was Rob Gronkowski, who had 58 yards total. But he had 2 receiving touchdowns. And when Gronk is healthy, when Gronk is in a lineup with Tom Brady, I mean, it's something special. It really is something special to kind of be seen there because he's going to score at will, or if he doesn't score, he's going to get a huge amount of yards. And I think we've kind of seen that week to week, year to year, is that if Gronk's with Brady healthy, he's going to get a number of receptions that kind of help him win the game per se, and really, play to the best of his ability. Where Yesterday we seen that 30-17, a complete domination over the Falcons for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where Matt Ryan, struggled, couldn't get a touchdown pass, really wasn't doing too much. Cordero Patterson really, was nothing special. Their leading receiver was Russell Gage. I mean, we've seen that here back with this graphic, where Gage had 130 yards, only one fumble. And that fumble is probably a huge one. Obviously, if he doesn't fumble that ball, maybe the Falcons score, make this a one-possession game, where it's not at this point. 30-17. I mean, that's a brutal one, I'd say, for the Falcons. But it is what it is. They'll keep trying to win games. Atlanta's one of those teams. They're a shocker team this year, where their record really doesn't look all that bad, like at all. They're capable of winning games, but they're not capable of winning games against teams that are playoff bound. Okay, that have a stellar defense. Atlanta they struggle. They struggle big time in big time games. And yesterday was one of those. I mean, it was a big time game, being that it was a division battle, okay, between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, I mean, something's gotta figure their self out over there, with the quarterback situation. What's gonna happen with Matt Ryan after the year? What's going on with Calvin Ridley? Is he gonna be okay next year? I know he's dealing with a bunch of mental health awareness, and to go off of that, if you guys need any sorts of mental health, help, don't be afraid to reach out to anybody, including myself. Went through it myself a while ago, but I mean, just if you guys need any sorts of help, don't handle the battle by yourself. Kind of seek out help, seek out friends, family, and stuff like that. Get your mind off something. But back to this game. I mean, 30-17. Tampa Bay really dominated the Falcons yesterday, and you could really see that in the entire game. And I think Tampa's really they're poised for another playoff run. They're ready to roll. Okay, and I think Tom knows that, and I think the rest of the team knows that. I mean, they kept every single piece of that offense and defense that they had when they won the Super Bowl last year. So a pretty good outing for Tampa Bay. Not so much for Atlanta, where Tampa Bay still remains, I guess, at the top of the NFC South division at 9-3. So an interesting thing. Now, we talked about the Steelers briefly a little bit ago, and we talked about the Bengals. But it has come out yesterday, or it was either yesterday morning or Saturday, that Mr. Big Ben Roethlisberger says this is his last year. His farewell tour began yesterday. And I don't know if it's a fluke that he said that. Oh, this is done. It's my farewell tour. Because they got off to a hot start after he said that. Oh shit, Ben's gone. Ben's leaving. We better start winning, boys. Or was it because Chase Claypool sat back, kicked his feet up, and said, "Hey, coach, we need some more fucking music at practice. All right, I'm getting sick of it. We can't have no fun. We're listening to your voice. It's not. I mean, as soothing as it may be to you, it's not. We need to get We need to get grooving a little bit, have fun, have some laughter, swag out, and then go out there and make plays. Really, probably not thinking about football. Maybe that was the case. But Big Ben and his farewell tour started off to a hot start yesterday, beating the Baltimore Ravens 20-19. Congratulations to Pittsburgh on taking down the Baltimore Ravens, who still remain at the top of their division. The Ravens moved to 8-4 on the year, where the Pittsburgh Steelers moved to 6-5-1. All right, now for Big Ben, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a big day. That's a big thing. That's a big deal, because we've seen Big Ben struggle the past couple weeks. I mean, throwing interceptions. I mean, falling over nothing. Literally, he drops back to pass. I mean, this one, it just completely just falls over. Nobody around him besides a couple blades of turf. I mean, geez, man. You better be your farewell tour. I know your off season consists of golf and beer and whatever the hell else you want to say. But good game yesterday. Really, really good game. You guys looked poised. You guys looked ready to win. You led them to a game-winning, or I guess not really a game-winning drive because your defense had to stop fucking Baltimore from scoring. But Najee Harris, he's going to continue to do what he does best: have 20-plus carries, 21 like he does right there. 71 yards, 36 yards receiving. Devontae Freeman did all right. I mean, his stats really don't look all that luxurious, if you will. But he was literally getting the ball, and when he literally all the time. And when he would get the ball, I mean, he was electric. 5-10 yards a play. I mean, he was just all over the place. 14 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown. 45 on the receiving end, and Marquise Brown, 55 yards. Now look, Lamar struggled this entire game. Couldn't get that Ravens offense going at all, and I have a feeling the main reason behind that is his receiving core. He doesn't really have a dominant receiving core at all, at all. You know what I'm saying? And it's rough because you look at all these other teams. You got Cardinals with DeAndre Hopkins, the Vikings with Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen. You got Big Ben with once Juju and Chase Claypool. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on where you got Lamar with Marquise Hollywood Brown, who, don't get me wrong, is a pretty good receiver. Okay. Then you got Sammy Watkins. Pretty good receiver. Not a number one guy. Then you got Rashad Bateman. Could flourish into a number one guy, still a rookie, not really sure what is going to transpire after this year. He needs something. And I hope they go address that in free agency like they tried doing this year. Especially with hopefully having all their running backs back healthy, because they did lose, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Justice Hill to, some ACL tears and whatnot, which is very, very unfortunate for the Ravens. But the fact that they're able to be 8-4 at this point in the year with all those losses in their backfield and have Latavius Murray and Devontae Freeman step up real nice. Some of Le'Veon Bell, but get his ass out of the NFL, thank God, because he's just you get what I'm trying to say there. He just all talk, no game, has been for the past fucking 3-4 years. I mean, just he's done. But this was a pretty solid outing, I'd say, for both teams. Especially Pittsburgh. And one big fucking question. So at the end of the game, Pittsburgh is up 20-13. They take the lead. It was tie ball game, 13-13, or yeah, so it was either 13-13 or 13-12. Well, Pittsburgh goes up. It's 20-13 at this point. Baltimore has a chance to march all the way the fuck down the field. No timeouts. They find a way to do so. They score a touchdown. Okay, so the score is exactly what you see here on the screen. 19-20. And big old Harbaugh, I think it's Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, because John might be in college. One of the Harbaugh brothers decides, you know what? Let's fucking go for two. Let's go for two. We have no time left on the clock. I mean, fuck it. Send them out there. We can get this. If we get this, we win the game. If we don't, we lose. Why? Why did you make this decision? It baffles me that you made this decision, because you kicked the field goal. You send it into overtime. What, do you not trust your offense? Do you not trust your defense? I mean, come the fuck on. You literally just said, fuck it. We win or we lose. That's how it's going to happen. Maybe he's on the same boat as me. He fucking hates ties. He doesn't want another one. Doesn't want to give Pittsburgh another tie where they would be 5-2. I understand that. But don't you want to be the number one seed? Get it by for the playoffs. Have to play in your home field. Have home field advantage the entire playoffs except for the Super Bowl. I mean, why go for two in that point? It was rough one to watch, but good, a really good outing for Pittsburgh Steelers and the starting of Big Ben's farewell tour. I mean, I just don't understand why the hell he didn't fucking announce this at the beginning of the year. Hey, this is my last year. Okay, this is gonna be it. Maybe they would start rolling a little bit, get more wins than what they fucking currently have at 6-5-1. But he started it this week for some odd reason. He's like, all right, God, we need to get a win. All right, hey guys, I'm done after this year. Okay, retiring. Let's get this thing moving. They got it moving. Deontay Johnson, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, the man played phenomenal yesterday, out of his mind. He's definitely going to be the new number 1 receiver in Pittsburgh, whether that be the rest of the season, because Chase Claypool just is not cutting it, drops too many balls, too much of a pretty boy, just like Juju, who fucking, goes on his TikTok and jujuing around over there and fucking doing his shit. But this is Big Ben's last year. To Matt's question, if he asked if Big Ben is retiring after this is his final goodbye. This is it. This is do or die for Pittsburgh. It's do or die for Big Ben. And if I had to guess, it's probably a die because he's got the Minnesota Vikings who fucking stink somehow. This Thursday, I'll be at that game, so I'm pumped up. There will be no show on Thursday, but what are you gonna do? 19-20. Baltimore goes for 2. Ultimately fails to get that 2-point conversion. Game over. Baltimore loses. Pittsburgh wins 20-19. So one other team that's kind of shocked us a little bit. Not really shocked us, but gave us a good understanding of what might be to come. Not really, to be honest. But Seattle squeezed in a win yesterday against the San Francisco 49ers, who have been on a roll as of late, and that could be because they were without Deebo Samuel yesterday in the loss. That's what I'm kind of trying to talk about here. But Seattle squeezed a win away in kind of a similar situation that resulted, or that took place in that Baltimore Ravens-Pittsburgh Steelers game, where Seattle ends up winning 30-23. San Fran moves to 6-6 on the year, where Seattle moves to 4-8, staying out of that losing season column as of just now, or as of right now, or so far. Russell doesn't want to have a losing season. And he did a pretty good job yesterday. 231 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, like you see there on your screen. And Jimmy Garoppolo, on the other hand, 299, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Take away those interceptions, San Fran wins this game. I honestly believe that 100%. Just look at George Kittle's stats right there. 181 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. Absolutely dominated the Seahawks yesterday. 35 fucking fantasy points for the man. That is absolute. That is awesome. That is real good for George Kittle and San Fran. But Seattle just they found a way to win. Plain and simple. They just kept fighting until the end, and their defense is really a big reason why they win this game, or why they won this game, and why they were so close last week. Because this offense really can't do shit, at all. 231 yards from Russell Wilson. He has an interception. Their running back, who nobody has any clue who the fuck is, had 80 yards and a touchdown. Good for him. On 3 carries, though. And then Tyler Lockett, 68 yards, a touchdown. DK Metcalf, where is he? Well, yeah, that's right. He's since he wanted to make those remarks about Shannon Sharp and tell him, quiet down, little boy, he hasn't done nothing. Don't ever tell Shannon Sharp to quiet down, little boy, because DK, you are nothing special at this point. You are not a Hall of Famer. You are not a Super Bowl champion. Okay, you might be a Pro Bowl getter. Proof's in the pudding there, young fella, young buck. Look, I know I'm a lot smaller than you, okay? But How about you go perform a little bit better out there, okay? I mean, Jesus. I mean, it is just brutal. But hey, Adrian Peterson, we talked about him last week, gets signed by the San Francisco 40, or not, by the Seattle Seahawks. Gets a chance to play in the game. He had a touchdown, but he also fumbled late in the game, which probably could have separated this game even further. We could be looking at a 37 to 23 point game instead of this, this 20 fucking 3 to 30 game over here. I mean, it is brutal to say the least. But Seattle got a huge stop at the end, and we talked about that briefly. Kind of a similar situation that happened with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. So Seattle goes up. Okay, it's 30 to 23 at this point. They have the touchdown now. San Fran gets the chance. They have a timeout or two. They march all the way down the fucking field. 4th down hits. Jimmy Garoppolo back to pass. He throws it. And it's picked off. And that would end the game there, folks, for the San Francisco 49ers. They had to go for it because you kick a field goal in that situation. You give the ball to Russell. He's going to kneel. It's going to be over. It's just, that is how the cookie fucking crumbles, folks, okay? That is just how it happens. And they ultimately failed to do so. They were right there. 3-5 yards away from that end zone. Could have capitalized. Ultimately didn't. Go on to lose 23 to 30, folks. Geez Louise. Seattle still doesn't have a losing season at this point, but we'll find out next week if that is actually the truth or not. But until then, we'll kind of move on. Nash is getting happy because, whenever somebody wants to open the fucking door, this dude's wants to bark, wants to, let his, look, there it is again. He wants to let his presence known, especially on the show. He likes to, get his 2 cents in. Isn't that right, Nash? Yeah, he's looking at me like I'm dumb. But good win for Seattle to really stay out of that losing season column and send San Fran closer to what Seattle is. Hopefully Seattle can start pushing forward, start crawling forward, and fucking hopefully get a win. That would be phenomenal for their season. So finally, last night, Sunday Night Football took place with the Denver Broncos taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. How about them Chiefs? Wherever they do that fucking whole celebration and stuff like that. And the Chiefs dominated on Sunday Night Football. Ends up beating the Denver Broncos 22-9, and really, which was an all-out defensive battle. Both offenses look like shit. Even Kansas City's. Patrick Mahomes, you see it right there, 184 yards, 1 interception on the day. No touchdowns. He did have 4 carries, 12 yards, but that's how he got his touchdown right there. Look, no offense there for Kansas City that you see on your screen right there. And neither for the Denver Broncos. Teddy Bridgewater had 2 interceptions on the day. Couldn't get his offense moving at all. Teddy struggled in a big way. 257 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And really he struggled for the main reason being that Kansas City's defense might be the real deal. Like, that defense has actually picked it up since earlier in the season when we were all like, dude, they suck. They need to figure it out. Otherwise, they ain't going to playoffs and stuff like that. Well, they figured it out, I think. All right, they still got to figure out how to stop the run there with Javonte Williams, who's took over for an injured Melvin Gordon. Had 23 carries, 102 yards. He did fumble the ball, but 76 yards receiving. Had that touchdown. That's a pretty solid day. Jerry Jeudy, 77 yards on 4 receptions. That's a good game. That's a good game for Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams. With those stats, you kind of think, oh, Denver was in this game the whole time. They sort of were. Because Kansas City's offense looked lackadaisical. Tyreek Hill wasn't getting open. Travis Kelce really wasn't getting open. McCole Hardman wasn't getting open. I mean, the whole offense was just kind of like, oh no, like what are we gonna do? How are we gonna, move forward? They found a way to win, 22-9 somehow, in a big way. That's a big, big win for Kansas City in a division battle. They lose that one. They're sitting right now at 7-5, and then Denver's sitting at 7-5 as well, and tied with them. They needed to win this game, and Kansas City knew that. They were home, and Kansas City got the job done. Ended up beating the Denver Broncos 22-9 on Sunday Night Football in a big, big victory there yesterday. So a quick look at other games around the NFL. We had the Cardinals beating the Chicago Bears. That was a pretty solid game. I didn't really get to watch too much of it, but it was a gimme. Kyler Murray was back. DeAndre Hopkins was back. Only had like 34 yards receiving. Did have a touchdown early on in the game. The Cardinals absolutely swiped them. Colts beating the Houston Texans 31-0. The Colts are a real team, especially with Hard Knocks going on. I kind of got to catch up on the last episode there. Then you look at Miami beating the New York Giants 20-9. Right at the beginning of the game, it was a closer battle, and Dolphins started separating themselves. They start the year 1-7. They're now 6-7 on the season, moving towards the top a little bit. So that was a big win there for Miami. Then Washington, our boy John Taylor Heineke got the dub over the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. 17-15. Pumped for Heineke. He is now made, so he makes $125,000 every time he wins a game and plays 60% of the snaps. Folks, his last 4 weeks, he's made $500,000. Ballin'. I'm pumped for Heineke. Continue to do what you're doing, man. I mean, that is just incredible. That is awesome for you. And Washington's on the move. And it's very unfortunate that there's been some RG3 news about their sexual misconduct and how they run their organization. It sucks for Washington. We'll probably get to that in a little, or probably with another couple shows. Maybe we'll see if I want to dive into that or not. But Washington got a good win, 17-15. And Minshew fucking mania, the stash, my guy. I mean, it is back, folks. Beating the Jets 33-18. Minshew got his first start of the season because Jalen Hurts was hurt. I mean, the Jets, obviously are the fucking Jets. They're nothing special. But Minshew mania, he performed actually pretty well. 20 of 25 passing, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, and starts his season off at 1. And no, it kind of makes you think, do they continue to roll with Minshew? I'd say no. Just because Jalen Hurts brings that dynamic offense. He's able to run one way. He's able to pass the other way. He's able to do it all. Minshew mania, though, just brings that extra momentum, that hype that Cam kind of brings when Cam got to Carolina and started stinking it up a little bit again. But Minshew mania is a real deal. Is a real thing, and he won that game against the Jets 33-18. Then you look at the Los Angeles Rams over there at the bottom right of your screen, I believe it would be. Kicked the absolute shit out of the Jacksonville Jaguars 37-7. Big time win there. I knew that was going to happen. We talked about it on Fantasy Football Friday when none of you guys were able to hear somehow. And because I forgot to fucking unmute us. But I had the dilemma. I was like, Josh Allen or Matthew Stafford, who am I going to start? Well, I was like, Matthew Stafford against Jacksonville Jaguars seems a little bit more promising than fucking Josh Allen against the New England Patriots. Just for some reason that was stuck in my head. So I started Matthew Stafford, started Cooper Kupp, started Darrell Henderson, and they all just fucking did their duties out there. Got the dub 37-7 in a big, big victory. And now tonight, for Monday Night Football, we have the New England Patriots traveling to take on the Buffalo Bills. Bills Mafia is looking for some revenge the last 20 years, trying to figure out a way to get that number 1 seed back. They lost it but they need to figure it out. I have New England winning this ball game. I believe Logan might have this. I don't even know what their guys those two picks were, but I know I got New England winning this game just because I feel like Bill Belichick has got this team down, has figured it out to the best of his ability. And really, I really don't know what else to say about this game other than it's for the number one seed in the playoffs. It's for the number one seed in their division. And it's a big, big game. This is a huge Monday night football game, folks. It's a big one. And if I were you guys, I would definitely go take a gander at this game. If you don't really like either teams, maybe just peek in here and there, wonder what's going on over there. Let's see, kind of, stuff like that. But it's going to be a good game, I think, for the most part. Patriots Bills, it's going to be a shootout. I mean, it's going to be, expect this game to go right down to the final second. Mac Jones is going to ball out, hopefully, and the Bills are going to make this a tough game. That's definitely going to happen. But I ultimately think New England's going to walk away with this one, hopefully, in a big way. So that is all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to the new and improved Get Your Fix show that we got going on here. It might not be the greatest, might not be the best, but it's something for now. We'll get better as we get going or, continue to do this stuff. But go enjoy the rest of your evening. Watch the Patriots take on the Bills on Monday Night Football. It is on ESPN and ESPN2. I believe if Peyton and Eli are on, I hope they are because it would be electrifying to see them talk about this game. So that's all I have for you guys today. Go have a great one. And you just got your fix with Wicks. Appreciate it, guys.